In the temporal justice system, the Star Trek Wars podcast is represented by two separate yet equally important groups. The investigators who prosecute time crime, and the instigators that cause it. These are their stories.
I can't believe we got recalled from vacation for this.
Suits me fine.
You can't be serious. Mimosas on the beach, the sound of the ocean, I never want to leave.
No, thank you. This is my vacation. I'd rather dig through 20 dumpsters to find criminal evidence than sip one of your sunny tonics.
That cannot be true.
You see, for me, Chloe, every day on the job is my sunny beach. You're the one yearning to get back, so who's truly the weird one? The one who loves his everyday life or the one who can't wait to change it?
It's you. Look, all I know is the second our scanner picks up the fugitive's temporal trace, we'll both be happy. You can dive headfirst into more dumpsters, and I can dive mouth first into more mimosas.
Well, don't get your hopes up just yet. We could be here for days, maybe even, What the hell was that?
Ha! Gotcha, sucker!
There you are, you slippery vole. Lieutenant! Sir! Want to take a look at this?
Find something?
Well, we found it all right. The digital footprint.
Confirmed. There's certainly a temporal incursion happening, emanating from 2014.
I'm going to need a little more than that. Chloe, refocus the isometric chromatrons.
Way ahead of you. There, March 28th.
March 28th, 2014? That's the day the 6th episode of Star Trek Wars came out. But why risk his podcast pension going back that early into the Star Trek Wars run?
Focusing in on the signal. The temporal occurrence happens late in the episode, during the Enterprise segment.
Episode 6, Enterprise. It looks like Jordan went back and broke time travel protocol just to talk about the Andorian incident. Someone's not happy that episode was reviewed a year and a half before he joined the podcast.
Well, my. Looks like Mr. Rosenwinkel wanted to talk about the Andorian incident so badly, he went and caused a temporal one. Hello, Jordan. Please, take a seat. Oh. As the creator of Star Trek Wars, you know I wear many hats. Mostly ones that say Star Trek Wars on them to push our dwindling merchandise sales. Redbubble.com, link in show notes. But the one hat I hold as the highest responsibility is the one I'm sporting today. My Temporal Investigations beanie. It was a typical Monday for me. I was staring at the Star Trek Wars old-time list. The list of every episode we reviewed from the original series through Enterprise, listed in order from the highest average score to the last. And while I sat there like I do every day, trying to figure out how to talk about the list without being super boring about it, I noticed something peculiar. Some averages changed, specifically from the first year and a half of the podcast. And there it was. Scores from you and the Council added to every single episode, despite neither existing until midway through Season 2. Now, it's one thing to go back and add both your score and the Council's to my all-time list. Very few would notice. But just to be safe, I recalled my time crime unit from Shore Leave, whom I normally pay to falsely pad our weekly download numbers, and had them run a temporal scan to the early years, and to my incredible surprise, a familiar voice appeared in the 6th episode of Star Trek Wars. Yours! And that's funny because the Prime timeline clearly shows you didn't join Star Trek Wars until mid-season 2, episode 14, Star Trek Wars, episode 37, Mullet Mike. Episode 37, Jordan. Yet there you were, in the 6th episode of Star Trek Wars, talking about the Enterprise episode, The Andorian Incident. Now, before I submit the audio from your illegal time incursion as evidence for your upcoming time trials, I just want to know one thing. Why the Andorian Incident?
Well, Jeremy, it's a strong season 1 Enterprise episode. I think you and your co-host might have been a little tough on it. First appearance of Shran, and who we can't get enough of Jeffrey Combs on this podcast. So I thought it was a good place to start.
You think first season Star Trek Wars may have been a little harsh on Enterprise? Well, we'll let history be the judge of that, but it still should be, breaking the time laws. Now, before I play the audio that proves your time crimes, Jordan, we're going to take a short break to hear from today's fake sponsor. We'll be right back. Have you ever been in a shuttlecraft accident? Woke up to discover you are now 6 months pregnant with another couple's baby? Hail me, Frank Quasar, the strong-armist, the only Vulcan lawyer with new offices in Free Cloud, New Sydney, and Farius Prime. You know galactic law is a lot like Pon farr. It doesn't make a lot of sense to most people, but it gets my motor revving. Have you ever been wrongfully accused of destroying a cargo ship full of civilians? Look, Jack, space is a weird place full of silly people with stupid laws, and I'll fight for your rights. If you and your doctor friend are set up for assassinating the Klingon Chancellor 3 months before your retirement, hail me, Frank Quasar. I'll make sure you get that boat. Have you ever been the victim of a witch hunt, exiled or deemed company property based solely because you're Romulan, Illyrian, or made up of wires? Hail me now. A lot of people say to me, hey, Frank, you're not like any Vulcan I know. And I'll say, yeah, dum-dum, we're not all the same. Notice I'm rocking a ponytail, not some dumbass bowl cut. Any other racial stereotypes you want to spat on me before I sue you for racial profiling, guy? Hailing frequencies open. Call me now.
Frank Quasar, they call me strong unless from my down logic on whoever mean harmless. When you need help but you got no voice, tell Frank Quasar, cause he's the logical choice. So turn the setting to justice on your type 2 phaser, cause no one fights harder than the legend Frank Quasar. Frank can help you out when you got trouble with them trebles with enough risk to make Christopher Pike's crispy toes wiggle. See, that's 1 beat for yes, not 2 beats for no. So hail Frank Quasar, baby, down now and make it so. Like it's so.
Welcome back. What you're about to hear is the audio proof of Jordan altering a past podcast. We'll listen to the part that he changed, then determine how much damage he has caused to the timeline. Computer, recall audio from Star Trek Wars Episode 6, Circuit Cancer. Stardate March 28th, 2014. Starting at the 1 hour, 38 second mark. Play on my command.
Working. Audio recovered.
Play it.
So the Andorians are like half man, half blue, half man pig.
There's nothing man.
They are like man
There's nothing
pig.
big about them.
Yes, they are. Look at their snouts on their little.
Pigs don't have antenna.
Connor, Gina, get out of the room. Like, quick, go. Barricade the doors. Okay. I don't know who you are or where you came from. But I'm going to let you know, sir, I've never been in a fight before. I did break my toe kickboxing. I broke it walking into a trash can. Please take everything but our rock band bikes. We need those.
Listen. I know my garb looks pretty crazy, but in the future, this is pretty stylish.
White t-shirts?
I'm just here to talk about Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh. Why did you say so, friend?
I thought it might upset you.
Strangely, not enough as you think it would. You know, you've actually just interrupted a classic Trek debate. But for some reason, my mic works better in your presence, so I guess I'll allow you to stay a bit. Yeah, Andorian incident. What do you have to say about it, friend?
You know what? This is, like I said, a strong season 1 episode of Star Trek Enterprise.
You said that before, huh?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I say it often, but maybe you haven't heard this before. It's the first appearance of Commander Shran, played by Jeffrey Combs, and the Enterprise essentially accusing the Vulcans of using Apple Maps in the first scene, where they're saying, "Hey, these maps ain't accurate." That was pretty great. T'Pol eating celery with a knife and fork is pretty great, and I wonder how she eats a Snickers bar. Probably the same way.
Does she ever need to? Because she's never angry.
That's true. She might not need a Snickers. Phlox, he's such a good Star Trek character. It's awesome to see him here and just the insight that he gives to Paul, them kind of being the two outsiders in a sense. I also liked Paul lecturing Archer and Trip about how to behave in the monastery. It reminds me of talking to my kids before visiting a museum. It's like, don't touch anything. Don't look at anything. I know that they're not saying the Stone of Jakar, but that's all I could hear. Now, you don't probably know who Jakar is yet, but
So he must be a Babylon 5 character.
yeah, actually. How do you know that?
Everything I don't know is Babylon 5 related, because anything else sci-fi, I know a great deal about.
I had almost completely forgotten the end of this episode. I forgot about the twist a little bit and the not so great CGI. Yeah, it's been a while, these season 1 episodes, since I've watched them. So it's kind of cool to go back and watch season 1 Enterprise and to watch a good episode. So
I know I give a lot of flack so far, 7 episodes or so into this new podcast, but yeah, Enterprise's CGI is a bit wonky, but I assume it just gets better and better with age. So I can't wait to see what they come up with going forward.
Oh yeah, you'll be impressed. I can't give too much away though. Yeah, the CGI was neutral zone just because it was long ago. I can't say how many years. Not a great cold open by Enterprise's standards. I said sorry, but good by Enterprise's standards. So
Sure.
I mean, it wasn't good, but for Enterprise, listen, you're going to see a lot worse. And Reed alert! Hadn't seen Mr. Reed in quite some time. Haven't watched Enterprise in a while.
Now, who's that?
Malcolm Reed. So yeah, he's
Which one's that one?
the half pint sized one.
The little British guy?
Yeah, yes.
Still trying to learn everybody's names.
He gets to take command. I think he does a decent job in this episode.
Read alert. I like that.
Yeah, I made it up. Patent pending. Cons wise, did you have any pros you want to talk about, Jeremy? I mean,
I think my biggest pro right now is a system that you're using. Pros, neutral zones, cons.
Yeah, like I said, patent pending.
I love this.
Damn it.
It's a great idea. Like, it forces us to come up with good things to say about Enterprise and Voyager. Okay.
Dang it.
Good to know. Pros, I like how T'Pol is the one that notices something is awry. She's trying to get all these new Starfleet guys in control and behaving themselves, and she's afraid they're going to make a mockery of everything or just embarrass her. But then she's actually the one that notices that things are going wrong and then acts. So I like that. It kind of starts to show that maybe her alliance is starting to shift a bit towards Starfleet and away from the Vulcan High Command. I thought that was pretty interesting. I also really like how they don't have everything figured out yet. They got the Apple star charts hasn't been updated. They don't know all the aliens in the neighborhood. They haven't figured out transporters. They don't know what a security chief should look and or sound like. So they got a lot to figure out, and I really like that. And I thought it had a great twist also. Archer just handing everything over to the Andorians is awesome because, yeah, the Andorians are paranoid warmongers, but that doesn't mean they're always wrong. They were actually right to be in this case. And yeah, great ending with him giving them the data and allowing them to leave. Maybe the first real steps of unifying the ultimate, like, early founders of the Federation. So some really cool stuff in here. I, of course, have a lot of cons. If that's what we could spell it KHANS.
That's a good idea. No one's thought of that before.
Oh, that's so great. I would like to, whenever I'm disparaging Enterprise, I kind of like to have my son in the room so he can learn from me that that's what Dad hates. So I'll probably save all my cons and stuff till I call him back in the room so I can help develop that hatred early. But yeah, I got a lot of pros and stuff. I'll talk about it later with them also, but that's kind of the stuff that's popped in my head since you've appeared, you beautiful stranger. You have what you call cons?
I do have a few prepared, yes. I kind of forgot how bad T'Pol's hair was in the first season, even by Vulcan standards.
So that improves.
Yes, sure.
Excellent.
I can't say much. Surprise, Archer's taken prisoner, which might be a surprise to you, but it was not a surprise to me for reasons I can't say.
Interesting.
The way the Vulcans display their most honored dead, why they just stand them up against the wall? What the heck is this?
It's logical when you think about it.
Let the bugs crawl over them. There's cobwebs. It's like, oh yes, it's their most sacred leader. It's just his body, like a Halloween decoration. What the world's going on? Could Archer have been more obvious when he threw that thing through that mouth hole in the wall? Instead of just like grabbing the wall and setting it through, he like stands next to it and like tosses it a few feet away into that thing. Is like, how do they not notice that?
I feel like Archer and the Southern guy had a few pretty obvious things. Even when they exposed the Andorians to begin with, they're all like, hey, why don't you come look at this wall?
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I will, Captain. I'll come right over there, and then give him the old 1-2. Huzzah! Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of plotting here that could have been tightened up for sure. The creeper Andorian who's like, oh, hey, you're into murdering? You want me to murder this guy for you, huh? I was like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah. I look forward to having you as a prisoner.
Yeah, that was, I don't remember that part. He's like, yeah, I've been reading about your mating ritual. It's like, okay, well, you can stop right there, buddy.
So I guess he won't be appearing as much as Jeffrey Combs in future episodes.
I can't say for sure, but there's a strong possibility.
It could be a real Damar situation where it's like, he was really weird in that first episode, but he ends up leading the Andorian rebellion.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have to see. Why would you leave one armed Andorian in a room of like 10 unbound hostages? What is that? You deserve to lose, man.
Yeah, you got to bound them at least.
I understand that they're like, some of them are monks and they're not supposed to do anything, but you can't you're paranoid Andorians. That does not fit in with their whole thing. So that's pretty much all the notes that I have on this one. I just, not getting to review this before, it's fun going back and watching any first season Star Trek just to see what's changed. The characters are just so fresh. Everyone looks so much younger in most cases. So it's just nice to go back and do that. So,
you know what I hate about Enterprise?
Sure.
Humans stink now. They stink now. They stink now. That's kind of a deal breaker for me. Like, I don't even know if this is set in the same prime timeline. Spock never mentioned McCoy's funk.
That's true. Question everything.
I always do. I'm a free thinker that way. That's why I go into each Enterprise episode not liking it.
Smart. Good way to keep an open mind.
Thank you. Thanks, Jordan. I think your name is, you said. Do you have anything else for the Andorian incident?
You can call me Daniels.
I'm sure I'll understand that later.
I have a rating for it.
Yeah. What would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10 is how we do it?
Well, it's funny you already mentioned this, but I'm going to give it an 8 stinky humans.
8 stinky. Oh, very nice. I think I'm going to give it a 7, but it's almost an 8 after talking about it with you. I think it burns a bit too slow for me at the beginning, but the ending is just absolute payoff. But it's too early for me to give Enterprise 8s, so I'll probably just stick to 7 if it's all the same to you.
I wouldn't want to influence you otherwise. Yeah, and Jeremy, I believe your name was. I also have a little segment I'd like to introduce you to that I created. It's called Next Time On, where we write a segment about what we think happens next or a deleted scene or something. It doesn't have to be that, but something to that effect.
How fun.
So next time on Star Trek Enterprise, on an all-new exciting episode, Temporal tells a story of how our ancestors visited Earth and invented the clothespin. You'd think it's for drying their clothes, but no, it's for the sneaky humans. You put it over your nose and it helps out a ton.
That's a lot of fun. If you ever visit again, I'm going to have one myself.
Perfect. Wait, what?
I don't know. I don't know how this works. Don't ever visit again.
Okay. No promises.
All right. Well, thanks, Jordan. Did you have anything else you need to do with this time? Because you're starting to glow orange.
Oh, it's completely normal. Don't worry. You might want to wear a hazmat suit next time I visit.
Can do.
Okay. See you next time.
Okay, what next time? Oh, there he goes. Wow. Goodbye, beautiful stranger. All right, guys. You can come back in now. It's okay. You're safe. It was just a burglar, but I'm also a hero, so I just beat him up and sent him packing after 20 minutes. Because of my kickboxing skills. I no questions, Connor. Not a word. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just get back to business. We're talking about the Andorian incident. Anyway, Connor, what did you think about this episode?
So I thought it was about, I really liked it. It was about people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just skip down to what they were. I think Archer quit wooing women. Like when
was he wooing women in this?
He was wooing T-Paul.
T'Pol. You both say T-Paul like she's a gangster rapper.
So, how much damage did your temporal interference cause our prime timeline? We'll find all that out and more when Temporal Investigations returns after this quick break from today's fake sponsor.
Today's episode of Star Trek Wars Temporal Investigations is sponsored by Mr. Magnifico's Magic Pills. What do? I don't know. Side effects may include death, kidney disease, pancreatic cancer, cirrhosis of the liver, brain failure, delayed periods, homosexuality, homophobia, and depression.
All right. So how much damage did your temporal interference cause our prime timeline? Well, aside from being the one to give me the idea for pros, neutral zones, cons, and potentially a next time on, without your interference, the Andorian incident actually finished with a score of 6.33, sitting at number 359 on the all-time list. And as you know, 359, not a lucky number in Star Trek. But with your 8 and the council's 7.4, the final average score was brought up from a 6.33 to a 6.88, sending it up nearly 70 spots in the countdown from 359 to 270, joining 2 other episodes that also have a 6.88. It is now in fine company with Ship in a Bottle from Next Gen and Errand of Mercy. And, I can't say this excursion alone was enough to prosecute you. Hell, Enterprise probably deserves all the extra love it can get, and honestly, the Andorian incident, at the very least, should be in the upper 200s. So, all right, Jordan, I can't be mad at you for that. You're all right regarding the Andorian incident, and if that was your only temporal incursion, you'd be slapped on the wrist, do your community service on some charity podcasts, and we'd be done here. Except then, much to my surprise, you showed up again a mere 3 episodes later to talk about the Voyager episode, Prime Factors. All right, we're going to take a short recess, but don't get too comfortable, Jordan. We're just getting started here.
Okay, he's gone. You can come out now.
You did good, old friend. Stay the course. We're so close now.
He knows about the other excursions. You told me this would be easy, untraceable, and no one would get hurt.
Patience. Patience, my lovely. Everything is going exactly according to plan.
But Jeremy
is right where he is supposed to be. After all, he is a content creator, and content creators have a way of showing up when you least expect them.
Temporal investigations will continue with Voyager's Prime Factors.
You mess with the past, well that's a crime. And you screw with history, you'll do the time. Temporal investigations, they'll be coming for you. Temporal investigations with Jeremy and his misfit crew. Temporal investigations, stopping baddies and helping the timeline man. The past is a present, but you ain't got no future friend. Time's up.
Star Trek Wars is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else fine podcasts are heard. Join the Star Trek Wars Council on Facebook by searching for Star Trek Wars. Write or leave a voice message at StarTrekWarsPod@gmail.com. And find us on the Cesspool app, formerly known as Twitter, at the Star Trek Wars.
Thanks for listening to Star Trek Wars.